Okay, so guys, this is session number 4 of the series, and today, and I sent it out in the email, is that we're going to do something called the side bend. So, you know, there are lots of variations of the side bend. So I'm going to do a little bit of a series with you today, and I'm going to demonstrate it for you, and then as we go through the class, I'll just kind of keep pointing out, okay, well, this is why we're doing this particular exercise and how it applies into what we're going to do here. So I've already mentioned it, and specifically because I know Fina has some shoulder issues, but the shoulder issues are quite common for a lot of people. So it's one of the modifications that you need to be able to offer yourself at any time if you're feeling like a lot of weight bearing or strain around the neck, the shoulders, and even the wrist. You can go down onto your forearm, okay? So you guys rest there for a second. I'm going to demonstrate the side bend for you. So the side bend, you start seated. So you guys recognize this, like a lot of the work that we do on the side. And you want to have a fairly long base here. You're going to have your feet split. So you're going to have one foot in front of the other, middle finger pointing away, and you do need to find this connection here. So the first movement that you do is you press away from your feet, and you're going to go into what's called an oblique arch. Okay? And then
Hugo,
arm up, straight line. Then you look up at your hand, and you're not going to drop. You're going to let your hips come down. It's a lot of control as you let it come down, and then come up again. And then you bring your arm through. You press away from your hand as you reach through. You come back to the center, and then you bend your knees, and you take a seat. All right. So we only are going to do one set of those towards the end of the class once we've done all of our warm-up and we feel that we're ready for it. And with all of those, you can stop at any point. So a lot of people might actually literally do that whole thing on their elbow. Okay, so it takes a lot of the weight loading off the shoulder. Happy? Fantastic. All right, so I don't see anyone else online yet. Do you guys have any questions before we jump in? Are you super excited?
terrified.
Me too. Okay, so I'm just going to mute the background noise. All right, and today we are going to start in a resting position. So for those of you that come from a yoga background, this is our child's pose. So let's just come into our child's pose. Sorry to have my back too hard. And take your knees nice and wide, guys. Give yourself a cross if you need, underneath the knees, underneath the pelvis. And then start by walking your elbows down to the ground. Just shift your hips and your spine around a little bit. And then rest your head all the way down, or you can put your head onto a cushion or a block. And then just walk your hands part way forward, so you still have your forearms fully connected to the ground. And then spread your fingers out, so you can start to become aware of the connections of your fingertips and your hands towards the earth. Feel free to close your eyes and start to connect into your breath. And this is such a wonderful position to start to feel the opening along the back of your body as you breathe. Yes, you. Feel that expansion of your ribs, the expansion of your lungs as you inhale. Feel the softening and release around your neck, your shoulders, and your lower back as you exhale. And just allow your belly to be soft underneath you. You don't need to consciously draw it in. You don't need to consciously force it outwards. Just allow your belly to respond to your inhale and your exhale. Stay with your breath and allow each exhale to lengthen and extend a little bit longer. Pausing here for just a few more moments, noticing how you're feeling this morning, how your physical body feels and how your energy feels. Taking one more deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and sigh. You can slowly blink your eyes open, rooting into your hands as you draw yourself up slowly onto all fours, bringing your knees underneath your hips, bringing your wrists underneath your shoulders, and then let's start to move into a gentle cat stretch. Starting nice and small as you move through the spine. And again, as you lengthen, you can either just go to neutral or just go into a very soft extension. And then as you round your spine up, maybe you want to travel a little bit further. And once again, as you lengthen and then extend, maybe you want to lift your tail a little higher, lift your eyeline a little higher. Just start to explore your range as we warm up slowly. And taking just a few more rounds of this full cat stretch. Notice how your breathing connects to your movement. Because as we go into our side bend series, you will notice how your breath has the power to carry you through those more difficult positions. Rounding your spine all the way up, stay here just for a moment. Tuck your toes under, and then on your breath, lift your knees just up off the ground. Stay in that rounded spine position, pressing out of the hands, lifting through the belly, tucking your tail, tucking your chin. We stay for another 3 counts. And then slowly lower the knees down, release your feet, and lengthening all the way out through the spine. Taking your right arm, reach it out to the side. Let's coming into a thread the needle, holding it here, and then just placing your left hand firmly to the mat beside you. Let's just do a gentle push with the hand and release. And push with the hand and release. Let's just do a few more. So what you might notice is that your arm, your shoulder, and your shoulder blade are actually staying in the same place on that right side. And effectively what you're doing is rolling your rib cage in relation to your shoulder blade. And all of the scapular placement and the shoulder girdle placement is really important for the side bend series. Let's take one more. And release. Press into the left hand as you come all the way up. Reach to the side, and then right hand comes down. Left arm extends. Thread the needle through. Resting your head, resting shoulder, and once again, just bring a little bit of a push with the right hand and release. kind of soft rocking, very soothing as opposed to jarring the body a bit. And just notice if maybe one shoulder or one side feels a little bit tighter than the other. And then see if you can allow your breath to help you release that tension. Last one. And hold. Come all the way up. Reaching the arm to the side. And then placing the hand down again. Staying in a lengthened spine. Tuck your toes under. And once again, hover your knees, but this time you are in a neutral spine position. Feel the connection into your upper body. Feel the connection around your pelvis and your hips. Stay here for another 3 counts. And then slowly releasing all the way down. Release your feet back. Open your knees nice and wide. Sit back into your child's pose, your resting position. Walk yourself down. But now this time, if you can, start to walk your fingertips forward until perhaps you can stretch your arms. And again, this might be a very strong stretch for you around the shoulders. And an easy way to get around that is to actually take your arms wider. So you don't have to have the hands shoulder width apart. Feel free to take them wider. And find the opening along the front of the armpit. And maybe let's do a little bit of a rolling action from side to side. So we start releasing those lats. Finding their connections all the way from the back to the front of the arm bone. And then settle yourself in the center. Spread your fingers out nice and wide. And once again, pull yourself forward onto all fours. Bringing the knees underneath you. Wrists underneath your shoulders. So once again, we're going to be hovering our knees, but we're going to add on this time. So tuck your toes under. Stabilize your spine and lift your knees off the ground. Bring your right hand underneath your face on the middle of the mat. Pivot feet, knees, pelvis. Balance on your right hand and see if you can pick the left hand up. And now simply place your hips down. Help yourself as much as you need to, and we're going to stay here just for a moment. So make any adjustments you need. Taking your left hand, placing it underneath your ribs. You probably recognize this from the other day. And you're just going to let your shoulder release up towards your ear, and then you're going to press away. And again, release and press away. And let's just take 2 more. So you're finding that serratus anterior connection. Can you feel it there, okay? So now you're going to give yourself a tactile cue. And press. We're going to do one more time. And press. Hold it. And now let your fingertips come down towards the ground. Come down onto your forearm. And let's do another rotation of the spine. So you open up the front body and then around your spine as if you're going to thread the needle through, but we're not going to stay there. And again, breathing in, open, and breathing out. And we're going to do just one more time, breathing in, and breathing out. And this time, see if you can put your forearm down. So you might need to let your hips and your knees move, which is absolutely fine. Relaxing into the back of your neck, and direct your breath to that space between your shoulder blades behind you. Feel the opening around your heart space at the back. Taking one more breath in and out. And then exhale, release, unravel, and then bringing the hand all the way down. So now, keep pushing out of that shoulder. On your breath, you're going to lift your hips up and keep your knees down. Lifting up and releasing it down. So now we are loading the upper body, but can you also feel that the bottom oblique is working, yeah? And release. Let's take 2 more. And release. Let's take 1 more. And release. Very nicely done. Fingertips to the ground. Bring yourself up. Hand, fingers pointing away from you. You're going to lift up onto your feet again. Pivot yourself around. Placing your hands down. Lower your knees. Release the feet. Open your knees wide. Big toes together as you sit back. And then once again, resting your head down. Walk your hands all the way forward, opening up the shoulders, and once again you can do that little bit of a rolling action from side to side. You guys can stay as you are. I'm just going to turn around so that I'm not going to have my back to you when you do the second side. And then pause in the center, spread your fingers out wide, and then bring yourself all the way up onto all fours. Set yourself up. Nice long spine, tucking the toes under. You're going to hover your knees just up off the ground. Bring your left hand underneath you. Pivot ankles, knees, hips. When you're ready, see if you can balance on that left hand. And then lower your hips all the way down. Help yourself wherever you need to so that you don't hurt yourself. And now, make sure you've got your hand pointing away from you. Place your right hand underneath the ribs. And let's just do a little bit of a lift with the shoulder to the ear. And then press away and you find that serratus connection. Letting the shoulder hunch. And you can just move at your own pace. And by the way, if any of you have an impingement of the shoulder or any kind of inflammation like bursitis, then rather just keep this movement very small so that you don't aggravate anything, yeah? And press all the way up and holding it there. Placing fingertips down, bring yourself down onto your forearm. Right arm opens out and back, giving yourself that opening through the chest. And then we go into a little bit of a thread the needle. And again, we breathe in. And breathe out. One more time. Make it as big or as small as you like. And then, if you can, rest your forearm down. I need to let my knees slide a little bit here so that I don't feel any pull into my lower back. So make those adjustments for yourself as well if you need. Relax the back of your neck. Bring your awareness to the back of your heart space. This side is easier. Yeah, definitely. I can feel that it's easier on this side for me as well. And then on your next breath, releasing all the way up. And then bringing that hand down. So now we're going to do that lifting of the hips. So find the connections, and on your breath, just hover the hips up and release them down. So you can see that I'm keeping my knees on the floor. So this isn't crazy weight loading. This is enough to challenge our upper body strength, but more importantly, it gives us a connection to the obliques on the underneath side. This is all completely relevant to the side bend series. One more time. Lift up. And release. Beautiful. Looks nice, guys. Press fingertips to the floor. Once again, come up onto your hand. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Lift up onto your feet. Find your balance. Pivot. Coming all the way onto all fours, lower your knees, release your feet, and once again bringing yourself into a resting position that works for you. If you can, once again bring your hands forward, straightening the elbows, and I like to do a little challenge here where you push up onto the tips of the fingers so that you get an even stronger release along the arm line and into the back. Stay for just a few more moments. Take a breath in, and then placing the palms of your hands flat, spread your fingers out, and draw yourself up again onto all fours. So we're going to go into a downward facing dog position here. You're going to tuck your toes under, and then lift your knees, move your hips back and up, and then start to pedal the heels down so you find that little release along the back of the legs. And then when you're ready, send both heels towards the ground. It doesn't matter if your heels are touching or not, you just need the intention. It doesn't matter if your legs are straight or not, as long as you feel that you're creating as much space as possible. And again, we're going to be coming towards this position in part of our series, in the side bend. So just allow yourself to feel the connections of your hands and feet. And then on your next breath, lowering your knees all the way back down and releasing the feet out. Slide your right leg back, keeping your pelvis level. You're going to lift your leg up. Stay here for a moment. Round your spine and bring your knee towards your nose. And then send that leg all the way back. Do that one more time. Round your spine, knee to nose. Can you feel those lower abs working? And send back. Now this time, round your spine, bring your knee to the outside of your right elbow. And send it back. Can you feel your obliques working now? And again, round your spine, bring it to the outside of your right elbow, and send it back. And now bring your knee in, and center yourself on all fours. We're going to do the other side. Left leg back, bring your leg up, pause for a moment. Round your spine, knee to nose. And stretch. One more time. And stretch. Now to the left elbow. Still rounding the spine. And stretch. One more time. And stretch. Hold it. And bring the knee all the way in. Tuck your toes under, lifting your knees just up off the mat. I'm turning around so that I can do my right hand. You're going to bring your right hand underneath your face, turning feet, knees, hips, all the way up. You come and you balance, and then you're going to bring knees and hips all the way down. Is everyone okay? Fantastic. So guys, take your left fingertips and place them lightly on the floor in front of you. The right hand has to be connected. Now watch this movement. I'm going to push away from my right hand. I'm connecting into my fingertips, and I go into that downward facing dog. And then I pivot, and I come back. Yeah? So, it's about the rotation of your rib cage in relation to your arm. Okay, we spoke about this earlier in class. So, take a breath in. Exhale, push into your right hand as you lift your hips up and send them away. Use your left hand to help you. And then, simply unwind and come all the way back. Yes, is everyone okay? press up. And you can put your left hand flat, by the way. That helps too. And then rotate, come back. Beautiful. Keep pushing out of this arm. Don't let this happen. Okay? One more time. And we go. Press up and away. And rotate, coming all the way back. And now slide that hand all the way out. And stretch your legs all the way out long. Fingertips are light on the ground, chin up. And on your breath, you're going to bring both legs up. And release. And again, lift. And release. Feel the obliques. And lift. Two more. One more time. Bring your legs up and stay there. You're keeping the tension on the top waist. Your bottom leg comes down and squeezes up. So your inner thighs have to kick in here. Now again, you need your inner thighs, you need these oblique connections when we go into the side bend series. Two more. I have a little challenge for you today. One more. Lift up, stay here. Now the bottom leg does tiny little pulses. Four, and three, and two, and one. Squeeze and hold it. Take a breath in, and exhale to release all the way down. Beautiful. Bend your knees, press yourself up, bring your feet into the center so you can balance. Tuck yourself into that tight little ball shape. And as always, you are welcome to close your eyes if you would like to give yourself that little challenge or to bring your awareness perhaps to the deeper, refined movements. And on your next breath, opening your eyes, let your feet come around to the other side. And now, we're going to be doing that pivot into the downward dog on this side. So make sure that your hand is rooted. You're going to have your right fingertips light on the ground, split your feet, and on your breath, press away from your hand as you lift your hips up and back. Use your arms to help you, and then pivot, and down you come. Make sure you've got your connections here, guys. If you need to work on your forearm, you take it to the forearm. And we go. You can use your right hand flat on the ground as well if you wish. And back to the center. Two more times. Pressing up and back. And release. One more time. You're going to feel your rib cage rotating around the scapula. And coming all the way back to the front. Very nice. Slide your hand out. Slide your legs long. You can use your arm to create a little pillow. Fingertips light on the floor. And on your next breath, both legs come up. And release down. And again, lift. And release. So you're finding your connections into your top oblique. We're going to do one more time. And now lift your legs up and hold it there. And now your bottom leg goes down and squeezes up. Down, squeezes up. Good. Keep it going. We're going to do three more. Finding the connection to the adductors, which obviously leads up to the deep core muscles. You're going to need this in the full side bend. Lift up and hold it, and let's do some pulses. So it's nice to add a dynamic to some of the movements. Not all the movements in Pilates are slow. And we go. 4, and 3, and 2. Energy through your crown. And 1. Squeeze and hold it. Take a breath in. And exhale, releasing down. Bend your knees in. Press yourself all the way up. Pivoting onto your bum so you can come into that little rolling like a ball shape once again. And just taking a moment to pause here and really observe how your body is responding, how your body is feeling. Taking one more inhale and exhale. And then placing your feet all the way down. Take a moment to bring your left foot in front of you and then your right leg in front of that. Shuffle around so you can get really up high on those sit bones and then start to come into your lateral flexion from side to side. So again, this lateral flexion of the spine, when we go up and over into the oblique arch at the start of the side bend, you want to have this mobility around your spine. We've been doing a lot of strengthening work and connecting work into the shoulder girdle, which is great, but you also want to have that ability to move into the shape. Last one. And come all the way upright. Help yourself as you bring your legs out into a lovely straddle sit, placing your hands just behind your back. You're going to bend the right knee, stretch it out. Bend the left knee, stretch it out. So just helping yourself getting a little bit of the glide. One more each side. Last one on the left, and now bring your right foot in front, left leg sitting up nice and tall, and this time you're going to bring your arms up, and we're going to go into a little twist. Lift arms, and twist. Good. Lift, and twist. So letting your arms travel through that range, forwards, backwards, up and over. One more time to each side. Come back to the center, and then help yourself, bringing your legs up once again into that lovely straddle. This time placing your hands behind you, and both legs bend and stretch. Bend and stretch. And think about creating space as you stretch out. One more time. And stretch. And now bend your knees. Bring your feet in front of you. I'm going to turn sideways so that I'm lengthways on my mat. And I want you to have both your arms out in front of you. Take a breath in to grow tall. Exhale, half roll back. Curling back just enough to connect into your core. Pause for a moment, breathing in. And exhale, forward. And lift up tall. And again, draw your tail under. Feel that softness across your upper back. And forward. So just a little bit of abdominal connection, never hurts. And curl back. And this time I want you to stay there. Pick up one arm. So you're just starting to challenge your center by moving your lever away from the midline of your body, or from the center of your body. One more time. Hold it there. You feel how tempting it is to lift your feet, right? And you're going to come forward and lift up tall. Now I'm going to do a little add-on. So you're going to curl back using your abdominals, and now open the right arm to the side. Turn your head to look, and exhale, bring the arm back. Left arm. So now can you feel that it works the obliques a little bit more? So again, this is just a very relevant connection to make sure that we've got in order to carry us into the side bend series. One more time, each side. Open the right arm. Exhale, center. Open the left arm. Exhale, center. Hold it. Come forward. Lift up nice and tall. And now with one smooth movement, let's go down onto our backs. Curling the tail. And letting the arms settle. Walk your feet a little closer in towards you. We're just going to go up into a pelvic curl, nice and simple. On your breath out, tilting hips, rolling up. So just an opportunity to engage the gluteals, open the front of the hip joint, relaxing into the neck and shoulders, and then roll down through your spine. Imprint and release. Bring the right arm overhead, rolling onto your right side. Take your left hand, grabbing onto the left foot or ankle. Do a little bit of a tilt with the pelvis so that we can get an opening and a stretch down the front of the quadricep here and up into the hip joints. So I often mention this when we're doing this stretch, is that you don't want to force your knee into a place it doesn't like. So if you need to adjust your thigh position, please do so. Make sure that it actually just feels good for you. Stay here for just a few more seconds. And then release, placing your left hand to the ground. You're going to step your left foot back onto the mat, roll yourself onto your back, and placing your hands down beside you. Let's do another pelvic curl. Tilting hips, rolling up, and then stay here for a moment and just notice on your own body, does the one side feel easier than the other now that you've stretched out the left hip? And roll down through the spine. Imprint and release. Left arm reaches overhead, rolling onto your left side. Right hand grabs onto the right foot or ankle or your pants, whatever you can manage. Get a little bit of connection into the lower abs. A little bit of a squeeze into the right bum cheek. Play with the position of your legs so that it works for you, and then you just have a chance to hang out here and breathe for a moment. Take just a few more seconds. And in your own time, let go. Placing your fingertips down, and then step your right foot back onto the mat. Rolling supine. Hands down beside you, knees bent, and one more pelvic curl. Here we go. Exhale, tilting hips. Rolling up. Lovely squeeze into those bum cheeks. We take a breath in. And we exhale, and we ripple down through the spine. And release. Bring both your hands straight up. Turn the palms of your hands to face each other. Open your arms wide. Inhale. Don't get them rest, just hover. And exhale, up they come. And I want you to wrap your arms around yourself and give yourself a little bit of a hug. Release. Reach up. Inhale. Open wide. Energy through your fingertips. Exhale. Bring your arms up. Wrapping them around yourself. Nice hug. And again, reach up, expand, open up through the chest, exhale, giving yourself a nice hug. And just one more time, inhale, reaching up and out. And lift up, crossing the arms. Give yourself a little bit of an extra squeeze, and then release. And your hands come up. Interlock your fingers, placing hands underneath your head for support. Give your spine a little bit of a wiggle, floating your elbows, stabilize your pelvis, and on your breath, come up into a chest lift. Sliding your ribs forward, and then inhale and control movement back. And again, breathing out. So this is a connection into the upper attachments, and release. We're going to do 2 more. So this is relevant to the side bend because we want to be able to keep our body in a straight line when we come up. And it's a connection between the front body and the back body. And release. Up you come into a chest lift, and I want you to stay here for 1 moment. Bringing the right knee to tabletop, hold. Bringing the left knee up to join it, hold. And then lower your head and shoulders all the way down. Bring your hands out to the side, palms up, and squeeze the knees and the ankles together. Take your legs over towards the right, but don't go further than the edge of your mat. And then exhale and draw back to the center, like you're getting water out of a sponge. Taking your knees over towards the left, stay in the parameters of your mat, and exhale to the center. Good. Keep going knee side to side. So this is very similar to a lot of the movements that we did yesterday leading up to our hip circles. But our emphasis here is about finding the connections into those obliques. Because again, when we go into the side bend, you're going to need those obliques big time. Let's take 3 more. Chest nice and open. Lower back protected. Last one. Come back to the center, hold it. Placing one foot down, placing the other foot down. Stretch your legs out. Reach your arms all the way overhead for a good morning stretch. And then squeeze your legs together. Bring your hands just up to the ceiling above your chest and squeezing the ankles. We're going to go into a roll-up. Lift your head, look towards your feet. Exhale, use abdominals. Good, 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 good. Well done. Let's keep going all the way forward. So you're actually going to give yourself a little bit of a stretch here. Take a breath in, and then exhale, unravel, and lifting all the way up and sitting up nice and tall. You're going to pivot onto all fours. I'm going to stay facing towards you. So coming onto all fours, take your hands a little bit wider apart than you normally would, and we're going to go into a plank position or a push-up position. So extending one leg back, toes tucked under, pushing into the hands of that back foot, energy through your crown, and then stretch the other leg back to join. And holding it here just for a moment. Let your knees come down towards the ground. Release your feet back. Round your spine like a cat. Start to push away from your hands. And let's do 5 little releases here. One more. Now start coming all the way forward, all the way forward. Now, you've got to squeeze your bum. You want to open up the front of your pelvis, lift up through your chest, and press out of your arms. These are a lot of the same connections that we're going to need in a second for our side bend. Hold it here, isometric work. Wake up your bum, wake up your gluteals, and now tuck your chin in, round your spine back, sucking the tummy in, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up, and then make any adjustments you need as you come into your downward facing dog. So I usually like to walk my feet just a little bit closer. Pedal your heels a few times. And then pressing both heels towards the ground. Stay here for one breath in and out. And then on your next breath, bring your knees to the floor. Open your knees wide. Bring yourself into your last resting position for today's class. Find a position for your arms that works for you. If you feel that your upper body is getting quite tight, what oftentimes helps is to bring your hands together in prayer, and then you bend the elbows and place your hands behind your head, which is a lovely stretch for the triceps muscles at the back of the arms. Pausing here for one more moment. And on your next breath, stretching your hands all the way out in front of you. Draw yourself up onto all fours, and then simply turn to sit on your left hip. So for some reason, I know I'm right-handed, but I always like to do my left arm first. If you guys want to do the other side, if it feels more instinctive to do the other side, then please do so. So we're going to have the fingertips pointing away. You're going to have your knees bent, stacked, and split your feet. So your top leg is at the front, and you need to flex the feet because you really need to be able to ground into your feet. Now the other thing is, you don't want your hand too close towards you, because when you go up, it's going to be a massive strain on the shoulder. You can go over yourself. So make sure that your hand is quite far away from you here. And we're just going to do a test run to bring ourselves into a straight line, okay? Don't go all the way over yet. So take a breath in to prepare. Squeeze your inner thighs. Exhale, push away from your feet, and see if you can come into a straight line. If it's hurting you, come down onto your forearm, and now bend your knees and come all the way down. Okay, now we're going to do one more time, practice run, so that if you need to go onto your forearm, we're going to try it like this so you guys can test it out for yourself. Okay, take a breath in, exhale, pressing away from your feet, holding it here, take a breath in, and exhale, bending your knees, and in you come. Now guys, you can just keep repeating that if you want to. If you want to try the full thing, let's go together. Take a breath in, exhale, press away from your feet, and lift your arm overhead, and lifting up through the hips. Bring your hand up, look up at your fingertips. Can you lower your hips just a little bit towards the floor, not too much, and then press up to a straight line. Bring your hand through, reach, come back to a straight line, and then bend your knees and take a seat. It's not easy. I am so regretting wearing a long sleeve top today. Guys, pivot onto your bum cheeks. Tuck yourself into a little ball shape, and let's do some rolling. Use your feet to help you if you need a little bit of a kicking action. Make sure your chin stays tucked in so you don't hit your head. One more time. And balance, and placing your feet down. I want to keep facing you, so I'm just going to pivot around to the other side. So now we're going to do the other arm. So make sure your fingers are pointing away from you. Knees bent, you're going to split your feet, guys. Remember that the top foot goes to the front, yeah? Pressing out of your shoulder. The first one is just to a straight line so you can see if you're in the correct placement for you. Bottom obliques connected. Take a breath. Exhale, push away from your feet. Straight line, squeeze your inner thighs, and then bend your knees, and down you come. We're going to do another test run. So if you need to go onto your forearm, you can have an experience of what this is like if it works for you. Okay, so obliques connected. Take a breath in. Exhale, press away. Pause for a moment, and then bend your knees. Good. So you can keep doing that if you want to. If you want to try the full exercise, we're going to do it now. Take a break at any point. Take an inhale. Exhale, send your body up and over. Lifting up through the hips. Lift your hand, look up. Bring your hips down just a little bit. Keep pushing out the arm. And lift up. Bring your hand through. Lifting up through the pelvis. Reach. Come back to the front and releasing all the way down. Fantastic. Pivot onto your butts. Tuck yourself into a little ball shape and let's roll. Little massage of the spine. Last one. And hold, and placing your feet down, nicely done. So please come into a comfortable seated position. If you'd like to sit up on a block, here on the block, okay, you happy? All right, so just however feels most comfortable for you. And you're just going to take both arms all the way up, inhale. And exhale, bringing them down. And now we're going to inhale and reach them all the way up. And this time exhale and bring your right elbow. I'm going to do a mirror image for you. Bring your right elbow under. And you can stay here with the elbows hooked. If it's very easy for you, maybe you can find a little bit of a bind with your hands. And then create a little bit of length along the back of your neck. And then if it still feels really easy for you, what you can also do is a little bit of a rounding of the upper spine. Finding a little bit of compression around the shoulders. A little bit of release into the neck. Coming all the way upright. Take your time as you release the bind of your hands, reaching your arms out. You might feel all the energy, the circulation moving, and again, inhale, reach up. And exhale. This time, looking your left elbow under. I'm doing a mirror image for you. And you can stay here. If it's feeling pretty easy, you might want to bind your hands, but please don't force it. Chin in, finding a little bit of length along the back of your neck. And then maybe finding some softness through the back line of your body. And on your next breath, unravel, lifting up tall, release, opening your arms, just feeling all that energy rushing through your arms. Inhale, reach all the way up, and exhale, opening your arms nice and wide, and then just rolling the shoulders back and around. And we're just going to finish with eyes closed. Put your arms wherever feels most comfortable for you. And if you prefer to just soften your gaze and turn your gaze downwards, that's perfect as well. And taking a moment to pause, observe, reflect, and integrate.
I think Renee's had load shedding, unfortunately, everybody.
Bye then. See you. Well, I won't see you because I'm here recording. Bye.
Bye-bye.